Welcome to English Podcasts with Chris
and Sue. Hello, listeners. Welcome to our special podcast episode, Where Will We Be in 20 Years' Time?, in which we'll be looking at how to express the future in English. And today we have a fascinating special guest, Sue, who claims that she can predict the future. Wow, what a guest. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Chris, and hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here and share my visions of the future with you. And I know what you're going to say even before you start speaking. I'm pretty good at predicting the future.
Fantastic. Let's dive right in. Sue, first of all, tell us, what do you think fashion will look like in 20 years' time? I mean, your clothes look a little, futuristic. Well, they aren't from this era, are they?
Oh, well, I knew you were going to say that. Well, Chris, this is what's going to happen in the future. In 20 years' time, people will be wearing clothes made from recycled materials, bioengineered fabrics that change colour with your mood. And this will be all the rage. So imagine your shirt turning blue when you're sad and red when you're happy.
Wow, that sounds incredible. So I might be wearing a t-shirt made from old yogurt pots and newspapers, right? And we use a lot of techie stuff today. You know, everybody has loads of gadgets. I mean, I have loads, and probably you do as well, that they mostly don't ever use. What about technology? What gadgets will we have, and how will things be different in the future?
Well, just give me a minute while I look into the clouds and the stars. Technology will be beyond our wildest dreams. We'll have holographic smartphones that project 3D images and virtual reality headsets that let you listen and let you experience any place in the world as if you're really there. You won't have to catch a plane to go on a holiday anymore. Just pop on a headset and you'll be there in a jiffy. No more queuing for Ryanair flights and fighting for deck chairs on the beach. No more seagulls will be pinching your crisps on Brighton Beach ever again.
Well, that's amazing. I don't think people eat crisps on the beach, but I bet they eat fish and chips. And the idea of no chip thieves on the beach, well, that sounds brilliant. But how will these holographic smartphones work? When we're on holiday in our virtual realities, will we be able to feel and smell the places we go to, just as if we're actually there? Sounds a bit far-fetched to me.
Well, I'm not an expert on the technology, but I can tell you that you will be able to use a combination of quantum computing and nanotechnology with the addition of what I call smelly and feely vision. All very authentic stuff, really. So you'll just be thinking about calling somebody, maybe me, and it will just happen instantly. And when you want to go to the beach, just think of the place and almost immediately you'll be there. Pretty good idea, huh?
Sounds a bit wacky to me. I mean, will I be able to smell the beach and sand and hear the waves and seagulls just by thinking about it? Won't that put a lot of travel agents, hotels, bars and restaurants out of business?
Well, not really, but that's the good thing, you see, because the restaurants, the bars and hotels will be in the cloud. So if you have a restaurant today, if you're a restaurant owner, let's say in Brighton, you can apply for it to be in the cloud. Do you follow me? The waiters and the chefs will be angels, and basically all of heaven will be a huge employment zone. And the good thing is the angels don't need any holidays and they never have sick leave and they never retire. And so there's no pensions to pay or anything like that. In the future, it'll be great.
That sounds totally crazy. Are you saying that angels actually exist and are willing to take up employment even on a seasonal basis?
Yes, absolutely. I'm saying that. And they'll travel freely and for free. And the future will be great. Trust me, I'm a sort of doctor in that way.
Still seems really mad to me and unbelievable. But moving on, what about global politics? What do you foresee? I mean, will things get better as we're living in pretty turbulent times politically in the world, across Europe, and in a lot of cases, politics is pretty much broken everywhere.
Well, I can assure you that in the future, as I see it, global politics will have transformed completely. there will be one world government, and we might finally see a world without wars. But I can see a man, a heavy man really, with a blonde quiff, carrying a golf bag as president of the world. Things would be great when this happens, according to my predictions.
It's quite optimistic. I can't see how all the world would be able to vote for one president to govern all the countries in the world at the same time. Do you really see this coming true? But moving along to less controversial subjects than politics, what about everyday life? How will it change? What wild and wonderful predictions do you have for us all in the coming decades?
Well, quite simply, everyday life will be a breeze. Self driving cars will take us anywhere we want to go, and our homes will be smart and fully automated. You won't need to lift a finger. You get into your car, press a couple of buttons, then you can settle down to read a good book, watch a film, of course, a film on Amaflix. Amaflix will be the biggest streaming platform in the world, owned by Rupert Murdoch. Or you can have a nap as your car drives itself and you get to your chosen destination completely relaxed.
Okay, so how exactly will these self driving cars be powered? Will it be dangerous on the road for other road users? And what about pedestrians in towns? Won't that be a bit dangerous? Are we going to have to watch out for cars that might accidentally drive on the pavement or just run you over as you cross the road? Hospitals are going to be full of road traffic accident victims, aren't they?
No, 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 none of that. Everything will be safe. In fact, much safer than driver driven cars. You know, cars with drivers will be banned, and all cars will have multi directional sensors to stop all accidents on the road. Of course, they'll run on renewable energy sources like solar or wind power, and they'll be able to fly too.
Flying cars powered by solar and wind energy? That's something. Will they land in the street or at special carports? Will we have to watch out for cars landing on our heads at any given moment? It all sounds a bit batty and really scary. Sue, how do you come by these predictions? And can we rely on these things as being what is happening in the future?
Well, you see, I have a special, let's call it connection with the future. It's like a sixth sense. You know, you remember the film with Bruce Willis? Well, that was actually modelled on me. I see things that cats can see, you know, and the future is my specialist skill set.
Really interesting. You said the future is part of your skill set, but I found some curious items in your study. Can you explain these futuristic magazines? I can see a lot of your predictions written about here by some quite well known conspiracy theorists and flat earth believers.
Oh, those. Well, they're just there for inspiration. They help me to connect with my visions. I have a crystal ball, of course, that was actually given to me by Gandalf, a famous wizard. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I've heard of Gandalf in the book The Lord of the Rings, but this crystal ball I found in your living room, it has a sticker that says Made in China on it.
Well, in fact, if I remember rightly, that was a gift from Gandalf. But I'm better at looking into the future than actually remembering the past. Oh, the sticker, that whole thing, made in China. Well, it's just a prop. These real predictions come from my intuition.
And what about this email from Future Trends Weekly with all the information you just shared? It's almost word perfect. Have you been rehearsing this?
Well, you got me there. I may have borrowed some ideas, but I do have a really vivid imagination.
Well, listeners, it seems our future predictor has a knack for storytelling rather than actual foresight. But Sue, you've certainly given us plenty to think about. It's all food for thought. Where do you see our listeners in 20 years' time?
That's an easy one. Hopefully, still enjoying your podcast, Chris.
And there you have it, folks. Whether or not Sue can see the future, it's clear that she has a vivid imagination. Let's ponder the possibilities and keep our minds open. Thanks for joining us. Sue?
Thank you, Chris. It's been fun.
Now for some discussion questions. What did Sue predict people would be wearing in the future?
How did Sue describe the evolution of smartphones?
What was Sue's prediction for global politics in 20 years?
According to Sue, how will everyday life change?
What made Chris suspicious about Sue's predictions?
How did Sue explain the futuristic magazines?
What was the significance of the crystal ball found by Chris?
What was the real source of Sue's predictions?
How did Sue hope the listeners would be in 20 years?
Why did Chris question Sue's ability to predict the future?
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of English Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and like our podcasts on YouTube, and also go to our website at english-podcast.com, where we'll also find some questions to back this up. Thanks again. See you in the next episode. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review.
To catch all the latest from English podcasts, you can follow us on Instagram at english.podcasts and on YouTube at english-podcasts.
And visit our website at english-podcast.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.